All right, we are live on a Sunday night helping people quit nicotine, cannabis, and other substances. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Frank, and we have a science backed method that has a 98% client success rate at helping people quit nicotine, cannabis, and other substances. We can do this privately without disrupting your public life and image. This method is specifically for high performance individuals and high level professionals. I put a link in the video description in the pinned comment if you want to learn more or you want to work with me one on one. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to wait a moment here for people to roll in. Hello, hello, sardines. How are you doing? And you guys can ask me questions, okay? So, what I'll do for now, I might do live calls in a little bit. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But ask me questions in the comments about quitting, nicotine, cannabis, other substances, whatever it may be. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And then if we got a bunch of people here, maybe I'll take some live calls later on where you guys can call in on the hotline and ask some stuff. 5 days since I've stopped smoking. That's awesome. That's great. Since you stopped weed, props. You're probably like, in the peak of feeling some things. I don't want to make any assumptions, but usually days 3 to 5 are, where it's usually at. Congratulations. So, Mana Book Club. Do you have specific questions about that, or is there something that you're particularly struggling with when it comes to quitting, or are you doing pretty good overall right now? Again, if you're tuning into the replay of this, you might want to fast forward here as we wait for questions to roll in and people to roll in and stuff like that. But yeah, so guys, again, questions, ask me questions. Okay. I've been fighting on not going back, praying. What can help me with the urge to go back? So why is it? So that's great that you're praying. Like that's something to do. But why do you want to go back? What's driving the urge to want to go back? That's the question that you have to answer. Right? Because I could sit here and I could tell you, pray, meditate, go for a walk, take a cold shower, do some push-ups, read a book. But none of that advice is going to be good advice unless I understand a bit more as to why you want to go back. Typically, when someone wants to go back to consuming a substance, typically if we're around day 5, it usually has to do with the person is experiencing withdrawal symptoms and they feel that consuming the substance is going to halt or put a cease to those withdrawal symptoms. So I tell people the benefit there that you're seeing is the idea that you're going to consume the drug and the drug is going to ease this experience for you. When all reality, all that drug consumption is doing is putting you right back into a cycle of withdrawals and cravings and things like that. So that's what I would question there. Like, why is it that you're having an urge to go back? That's the question that we have to answer. I would guess it's related to withdrawals, but maybe there's something else. Maybe it's a social reason. Maybe it's a stress relief reason. That's what we have to break down. Whatever the reason is for you, I recommend you identify it and then really question it, right? So I'm going to consume weed again on day 5 because I think it's going to help me with the withdrawals. You have to question that. Is it really going to give you the expected outcome that you think it is if you go and you consume it again? That's where you got to start. Now, yeah, it's the withdrawal. Okay. And I smoke to relate to my relationships. I'm not sure what you're saying about relating to your relationships, but it's the withdrawal. So the idea that smoking again is going to ease the withdrawal is far-fetched because what happens is you smoke again, the drug circulates in your body, and then that drug exits your body, and then you're right back into withdrawal and detox. And people go through this multiple times a day, multiple times a week while they're addicted. So what I would tell you is you've already been in withdrawal before. This time you're just getting to really experience what that drug was doing to you because you're stopping for a more prolonged period of time. So there's that. So, okay, as far as the relationship stuff go, the people I was in relationships with smoke weed. And so I would smoke to relate with them. Okay, so one, are you trying to maintain those relationships? Are they relationships that you want to continue to have? Or at this point in your life, are you on a different page from those other individuals? That's one question. The next question if there's is there anything aside from smoking weed sustaining the relationship? Like, is there anything sustaining the relationship? If the only thing you can relate to them on is smoking weed, and you're in the process of quitting weed because it no longer is something you want to do, I don't know that those relationships are worth maintaining. And I have nothing against maintaining a relationship with someone that smokes weed. I have nothing against that. But do you even want to maintain those relationships? That's my question there. So okay, I've been trying to stop weed. I actually feel better without it, so I don't even know why I smoke it. That's the $1,000,000 question that you have to solve. G77737. Why do you smoke it? What is it that you enjoy about cannabis? That's the $1,000,000 question that we have to deconstruct in order to make quitting easier. It's either that there's something about it you enjoy, or you're like physically dependent on cannabis. You have a physical dependence to the substance, right? And then we could also go into it's a learned behavior, it's a habit loop, all that other stuff. But that's the $1,000,000 question that you really got to try and answer. Why? If you're not physically dependent on it and you're not forced to do it, like someone who drinks 30 beers a day has to drink alcohol or they'll have a seizure, why? Why? Why do something that you don't want to do anymore? It's one of the worst things about substance use. Continuing to do something that you don't want to do anymore. As far as the relationship question goes, I just cut them off and I'm on a different page by myself and working on myself for my babies. Yeah, that's huge, right? Like, so you got different values in them at this point. That's all. So as far as the relationships things goes, okay, you also at one point had a social benefit to consuming cannabis, but that social benefit no longer applies. So right now, your whole thought process is, I want to smoke weed because I'm going through the withdrawals. I think smoking weed is going to help, but really you've been in a constant state of withdrawal ever since you got addicted to cannabis. You just haven't noticed because you've been consuming it again. And what I would tell you is, remember, I say this all the time on my channel, that withdrawal is nothing more than a signal that the addiction's dying. It's a signal that your body is detoxing and doing what it's supposed to be doing. And it's something that you can celebrate, okay? Anytime we experience change, discomfort is going to be a fixed cost of change. And oftentimes the best changes in life come with discomfort. I have a little, you said for your babies, I have a little 2-year-old and a half-year-old old at home. My wife is pregnant again. We're due with child number 2. And, you know, my kids it's incredible. It's the best thing in the world. But like, there's extreme discomfort that comes, like, certainly for my wife with childbirth. There's extreme discomfort with the nights that I'm up, you know, all night with my son because he won't sleep or he gets sick or something, right? Anytime we have change, there's going to be discomfort. It's a fixed thing. I tell people too, withdrawal is discomfort or pain with purpose. Addiction is not. There's no purpose to that discomfort. There's no growth that occurs in that, okay? There it is, G77737. I think it stops me from overthinking. And it's bad to become, and it's just become a bad routine for years. So boom, it stops you from overthinking. But G7737, isn't that BS? Because here you are on my live stream thinking about quitting cannabis. You're literally thinking about, why is it that I can't stop smoking? I want to stop, but I can't stop. That's literally thinking about something that you don't want to be doing anymore, and then creating stress surrounding the thing that you don't want to be doing anymore. So again, this goes back to, is cannabis really giving you that benefit to the extent that you think it is? Now, I could also go into an argument of, what is it that you are thinking about? Is it career-related stuff? Is it relationship stuff? Is it just random stuff? Like, what's on your mind? And are those signals from your brain your body's way of trying to tell you something that you need to be paying more attention to, or that you're procrastinating on? That's also a possibility that's worth questioning, right? Now, I could be totally wrong, right? I don't know you. I could be barking up the wrong tree. Um, Lucas loves. If my wife does something that upsets me, like lying or going back on her word, I go smoke. It's so tiring. It's a cycle I fell into so many times. Right. So, Lucas, what's happening is it sounds like, not content with certain aspects of your relationship. You consume cannabis, that makes you more docile, and it makes you content with a level of, it sounds like, I don't know, dishonesty that you're not okay with in your relationship. So, y- you know also, your wife upsetting you is not what's triggering you to smoke weed. What's triggering you to smoke weed is your belief or the perception of benefit that somehow smoking weed makes this situation better. When the only thing that's going to make this situation better is actually what sounds like improved communication, in rebuilding trust in this relationship, right? These are the things that are going to solve it. The more you smoke, you just sit around being content with aspects of a relationship that you're not content with. And I don't think anyone deserves that. So, and yeah, understand that, and understand that, like, when you quit, you're probably going to have way less of a tolerance for that in a relationship, as one should. I don't tolerate lying and stuff like that in relationships. I don't think that's okay. So, yeah, I don't know. But again, it's not your wife that's keeping you stuck in this cycle. It's your decision to consume cannabis because you believe that somehow cannabis is alleviating the stress of that situation, when all it's really doing is distracting you from getting to a good resolve, and probably taking away from some of the communication that needs to be occurring there. Again, I don't know your unique situation or exactly what you got going on, but just a hunch. All right. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've helped a lot of people over the years. It's pretty awesome. And for those of you guys here that may have interest in working with me one on one, we have our science backed method that has a 98% client success rate at helping them quit. The method, we do it privately, we do it without relapse, we do it in real time, in real life. It's really geared towards like high level professionals and like, high performers. But I put a link in the video description and pinned comment. Okay. I really appreciate the kind words, guys. I continue to do something I don't want to do. I'll try and figure out why. You figured out why. We talked about it already. Okay. I bought land and will be moving to Colorado to a farm next year, and I feel quitting weed would help me focus on my land and my babies. Yeah, of course. I mean, when you remove cannabis from your life, it opens up opportunity to focus on other things, right? Like, that's 100%. Think about the amount of time you spend thinking about cannabis, the amount of time you spend high, the amount of time that you kind of got the weed hangover after being high, right? Like, 100%, it would free up time for you to focus on other stuff. When smoking weed is a major part of a person's life and they quit, it instantly frees up time for other things. And that's then people say, I'm bored. I'm bored. I don't know what else to do. And it's like, you probably got a ton of other things to do and work on. Stop VE002 says, stop smoking 1 month ago. Insomnia was the worst withdrawal symptoms 3 weeks in, plus anxiety. Yeah, for some people, the insomnia can be pretty bad. That can be a pretty big problem. Not uncommon, right? When you consume cannabis, your body downregulates its own production of its endocannabinoids, its own THC, and your endocannabinoid system regulates sleep, it regulates emotions. So it's not uncommon to see this insomnia, especially across most substances, alcohol, cannabis, nicotine, even caffeine. This is not an uncommon withdrawal symptom. In some instances, when I'm working with people, we have to coordinate with their medical provider because they need like a little bridge when it comes to sleep. We actually work with physicians inside our one-on-one coaching program who can help people with that. Okay, if that's something that's needed, sometimes you got to do like a medication bridge, because if someone doesn't get sleep for like multiple days on end, they're at risk of psychosis, having a psychotic episode, right? So okay, yeah. Jet, I agree with you. Yeah, cannabis these days is like moonshine is to alcohol. Yeah, the stuff is right. It's industrialized. It's industrialized, right? It's some potent stuff. Do I still recommend Ancient Protein? Are there any better ones? Yeah, I've moved on from that one. So I actually like right now, it's the website I believe is Protein Factory. Let me try and pull it up for you. PROT Protein Factory, TEINFACT Protein Factory. Let's see. Is this the one? Yeah, great. I like proteinfactory.com. So this gentleman, I know the owner of it. I've talked to him a few times on and off through social media things. High quality protein products, third party tested, but he makes unflavored powders and he has them in whey, and then he has a vegan option as well too. And this person is probably asking me because they might have CHS. They're having a really hard time after quitting cannabis and getting in proper nutrients. And one of the things I'll recommend to people sometimes is supplementing with a protein shake. But yeah, I like proteinfactory.com. It's very geared towards like muscle building and bodybuilding, but like really good quality protein products there that you can get. Okay. Um, yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's see here. Dion says, I think the thing that had me stop was getting tired of rolling the marijuana itself. Yeah, that could be the case. You just get sick of the behavior. Sure, that's not a lot of people will quit for different reasons, and sometimes the simplest reasons, like they work for people. Okay, why do I have a taste in my mouth like nicotine and like weed? Am I hallucinating that? I don't know. You might be. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm 4.5 months sober. You helped a lot. Cheers. Congrats. That's awesome, guys. That's awesome. And guys, I'll say this too. Like, it's awesome seeing how much time people quit for. For me, that the duration of time that someone has quit a substance is it's irrelevant, right? Like, I care about, did that person significantly improve or even slightly improve their quality of life during that time, right? Because I could be 9 years sober and I could be a complete asshole and I could still have horrible relationships, horrible health, horrible finances, right? Like, you can very much in some people's lives remove the drug and have nothing change for them. So like I'm much more interested in like what's happened during those 4.5 months, like what's changed for you. That's what intrigues me more than anything. Cuz sober, right? Like let's take like alcohol. Once you're, 5 days, 2 weeks away from drinking alcohol, you're just as sober as I am, someone who didn't drink in 3 years, like so, right? Okay. Thanks for your content. I learned a lot from your videos and was able to quit smoking. That's awesome. More than a year ago. That's awesome. Thanks, Nisha. That is so cool. So cool to see. Um, every time I stop smoking, I feel so much better in my life, mentally and spiritually. I become naturally high. Yeah, so that natural high, like that's something that I care about when someone's quitting. So when I work with people one on one, um, I'm looking for certain check boxes to check off when they quit substances, right? So I want to know, are they getting those natural dopamine hits again, serotonin hits? Is music becoming enjoyable? Are they finding joy in work again? Joy in spending time with their kids and their family, right? That's always a really, really good sign that you're on the right track when you see that. Um, awesome. Awesome. Okay. Your channel was and is the first of many helps. Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome, man. And book club. Awesome. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, thank you, Dion. Thank you, guys. Very kind. I'm in my 30s, and people have told me weed is not even the same anymore, less naturally grown. Yeah, it's another major problem, too. You guys may have seen some of the reports that are constantly coming out. You got, all these news outlets and other places doing, like, buying cannabis from these places, licensed dispensaries, in many instances, medical dispensaries, and they're still popping positive on the third party testing for like pesticides, fungicides, all types of crap that shouldn't be in these products. So, yeah, if I were to ever go back to consuming cannabis again, which I can't imagine why I would only trust myself to grow it, or I'd have to have like a really good friend that really knows what they're doing. But I have no faith right now in like the medical dispensaries and like the recreational dispensaries. I really don't. I'd really, really have to trust that individual. Okay. Yes, Luber 88. I'm very familiar with N-acetylcysteine. I am one of the only people in the world to produce a chewing gum supplement called Kick It Crave Less Chewing Gum, which contains N-acetylcysteine and KSM 66 ashwagandha. We're coming out with another formula too that's going to contain lithium orotate and N-acetylcysteine. But yes, it's a great product. I'm a huge fan of NAC for when you're quitting cannabis. It can help to reduce cravings. It can help balance blood sugar. It can help with brain fog. And again, if you want it in a chewing gum, check out kickitrevolution.com. We're the only people in the world to make a product like this. It's a really, really cool product. I'll show you a piece of it. I worked years on trying to develop this thing. Really neat. So yeah, we make it to help people quit. Now, here's the catch though. Whether you're buying my product or buying N-acetylcysteine, I want to tell you what happens. People buy supplements and they think that this is going to be the thing that fixes it all. And then it doesn't. And then the person's like, I can't believe it. I tried N-acetylcysteine. I thought I was going to have no cravings. I thought I was going to have no withdrawals. And naturally, you're still going to have some. And then the person is like so defeated and just becomes another layer of disappointment. So supplements are supplemental to the mindset. They're supplemental to the belief system. They're supplemental to you realizing that you have the ability to make a choice, that you have autonomy, you have free will, you have all these things, okay? Big fan of supplements to an extent where I have my own supplement company, right? But like, you know, I that's my disclaimer. Even when I work with people in one-on-one coaching, I typically will not put them on supplements right away. I usually wait a week or two to figure out like what they may or may not need, because the last thing I want someone thinking is that they quit solely because of a supplement, because you're taking away from your own like profound experience and stuff like that, okay? Any tips on quitting the wax pen? I need a more specific question than that. I've produced over 1,500 videos on YouTube about quitting the wax pen. Give me something more specific. Yeah, I have a video coming up on Kratom. We have a video coming up on 7OH. You guys will see that soon. We have some medical professionals that we collaborate with because sometimes we'll want to do like medical detoxes with people on those. So stay tuned. I have tons of content coming up on that, okay? Weed used to have the seeds in the buds, 1980s and earlier. Sure. Okay, so let's see here. JJJ, I've tried quitting several times, but it's hard. I have a surgery in a week where if I'm vaping after surgery, my bone may not heal. I cannot use patches or gum. Any advice for quitting ASAP? Yes, you quit cold turkey. And why can't you use patches or gum? Like, I understand you have surgery, but like you're vaping right now, right? And it's dose dependent on nicotine, right? So the more nicotine you have, the less healing you're going to have. So let's say I'm making this up. Let's say right now you're getting 10 milligrams of nicotine an hour. Okay. That's probably not what you're actually absorbing. If you were to wear a 14 milligram patch for a 24-hour period, you're only getting 1 milligram an hour. Like, do I think that a low milligram nicotine patch is going to have that, a 7 milligram patch is going to have that much impact on surgical outcome? Probably not. And I'm sure the physician doesn't know either, to be honest. But yes, you are correct. Now, as far as like quitting ASAP, yeah, like just quit. Like, I mean, like I don't have a better answer for you except for like, just stop. If you want to go back to it afterwards, after you heal up, I suppose you can. But like, there's nothing stopping you from stopping except for your own mind and your own belief system. And it has something to do with the value that you see in the drug, but I don't know you. I don't know what value you see in it. I could help you a lot more if I knew more about you. But like, yes, the fastest way to stop is to just stop. Like, that's the answer. Like, I'm not, you're capable of it. No one's stopping you but you and whatever thoughts are going on in your head. The other reason why you're having a hard time though, is because you're in a situation where you're being forced to quit. That's why you're struggling. So when you feel like you're being forced to do something, which is typically the case when someone's quitting out of medical necessity, they always tend to be in a mindset of deprivation, right? Not so much what you gain. But what I without knowing you, I would say focus on why are you having this surgery? What do you stand to gain back in life after getting this surgery? Is it less pain? Is it a GI surgery? Is it a ocular surgery? And like focus on like what it is you're actually gaining back by following through on this surgery versus, oh, I'm giving up smoking. Okay. And what do you value more, smoking or the things that you stand to gain back in life if you heal successfully from this surgery? That's the best I could do for you right now without knowing you. But I know why you're struggling to stop because you're quitting out of medical necessity, and that's often very hard. We usually got to find other reasons when we work with people on that. Um, Okay. I tried NRT, but it keeps me addicted to nicotine and I just start vaping again. Yeah, that's the case for a lot of people. When I do NRT, I'm well, one, it depends. Is the person just trying to quit vaping and do they still want to use nicotine or do they want to stop nicotine altogether? That's one question. Another question then is, have you done patches? You know, I've changed my opinion a lot over the years on nicotine patches. And I've seen people be very successful with that. You know, we have protocols that we use with people inside our one-on-one coaching when it comes to like patches and supplements that I've seen work really well. And very rarely do I see people abuse patches. Very rarely. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, Jet Blackheart, if it's closer to an amphetamine. It very well could be. I haven't smoked in a long time, so I don't know like what the high feels like from it like these days. I mean, you know, I quit, I don't know now, probably going on 9 years ago. But yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I can tell you this. I can tell you that the withdrawal for some people looks more like opioid withdrawal than it does cannabis withdrawal. Because withdrawal from amphetamines, like you take cocaine, Adderall, or Ritalin, yeah, it can be intense, but like it's fast. And the cannabis withdrawal, it drags out, like very similar to how I see like opioids drag out in a person or something like that. It's kind of crazy. I'm actually reading stories now, which is so absurd, where they're actually prescribing Suboxone for people coming off of cannabis, which is just insane. If you're thinking about doing that, you should check out the link in my bio first, and we should probably work together before you jump to that. Okay, so all right, let's see here. I quit nicotine for like a week, but I relapsed and I get intense cravings every 4 days. So I hit two puffs once in a while. What do I do? So yeah, you get intense cravings at day 4 because day 4 is your peak detox when it comes to nicotine. Typically, it's like 3 to 5 days, and most nicotine gets out of your body. So that's what's happening. So you could look at using a nicotine patch. Your mindset is flawed though. Your thing is I get cravings and I relapsed. One, you didn't relapse. You consciously chose to go back to consuming nicotine because you think that consuming nicotine again is going to help reduce the cravings. Okay? So you've attached a very powerful benefit to consuming nicotine again on day 4 that nicotine does not deserve. And now you're calling it a relapse, some spontaneous thing. It's a very conscious decision that you're making that you're well aware of, right? You know your pattern to a T. You have to question, does nicotine actually satisfy the craving in the way that you claim it does? And the answer is no, right? Because you consume nicotine, it exits your body, and then a few hours later you have a craving again, right? So, and no, you're wrong, Cornstar 1253. Vaping absolutely damages the healing process. And that's why so many surgeons refuse to do surgery on people until they piss negative for nicotine and all that stuff. Okay. You're absolutely wrong. It does damage surgical outcomes. Many spine surgeons won't do surgery on people who smoke or vape because it increases the likelihood of a failed surgery. So, okay. All right. Let's see here. Boy, I smoke during. Yeah, smoking a lot can numb. I just published a video on this called How Weed Sucks the Joy Out of Life. And I talk about how it turns people into a zombie, numbing out the soul. A lot of that, what's happening, guys, is just when you consume a substance in high quantities and you abuse it, it doesn't even give you dopamine. People go around thinking they're getting dopamine from it. You're not. You might get a little bit of a dopamine rush in the pursuit of getting the drug, but not when you actually take it. If you've been abusing the drug for a prolonged period of time, it actually puts your brain in a state of dopamine deficit. And it also downregulates your body's own production of 2-AG, which is your body's own THC, which is referred to as the bliss molecule. I also venture to guess that it messes with oxytocin and serotonin and all those other neurotransmitters too. And that's why oxytocin is like this connection based neurotransmitter. I've been meaning to look into this, but like, I think that's why so many people become so like isolated and zoned out when they smoke excessively. I bet it screws with oxytocin. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Jada Blackheart. Yeah, Miracle Grow. Like, no, they are using Miracle Grow and Roundup and stuff. Like that's not a question. That's a proven fact based on third party testing reports that are coming back. The stuff that is turning up in cartridges and flour, even from licensed dispensaries, is insane. Okay, it's absolutely insane. So okay, let's see here. Trying to start tomorrow. Wish me luck. Good luck. Everyone could use a little bit of luck, but if you really, really try, you will succeed. And I would challenge everyone here to really question, what does trying actually mean? You know, I can't tell you so many times in life I've thought, I'm trying, I really tried. And I didn't. I didn't really try. I didn't. To date, if I've really tried at something, I've succeeded at something. So, you know, I think there's a big difference between thinking I'm trying and really trying, okay? Was sober for 6 months of this year, relapsed in April, says Hovey, and now back on day 3. Man, it's a journey. Glad I have a sauna. The sauna's awesome. Look, listen. Remove the word relapse from your vocabulary. Everyone, get rid of the word. Get rid of it. Okay? Just gone. Okay? You made a conscious choice to consume the drug again for one reason or another. Like, just acknowledge that. Put control back in your court, even if it's a decision to consume the drug again, okay? Now, as far as like I'm starting back on day 3, well, what are you restarting? When you went back to it, did your whole life fall apart again? Or no, did you just smoke for a little bit, stop again, and then move on? Right? Like, days are irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You're not starting over. I'm gonna assume some aspect of your life changed positively in those 6 months, and unless you totally derailed that, you're not starting over. Like, there's nothing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this mentality comes from 12-step and AA and programs like this and rehabs, and it's very dangerous. I have seen people on the verge of taking their own lives because they have had a non-alcoholic beer after 5 years of sobriety from alcohol. And they're like, I got to start over my 5 years. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what? It can get really dangerous. And by the way, if you don't like those methods and those other methods have failed you because they have around a 90% failure rate, that's only a 10% success rate, and you want something better, we could work together one-on-one. I put the link in the pinned comment in the video description. We have a science-backed method, 98% client success rate at helping people quit in less than 48 hours to 18 days, generally speaking, is our kill rate on that. And our method is designed specifically for high-level professionals and high performers. So business owners, entrepreneurs, physicians, politicians, attorneys, people who need privacy. I got you, okay? Okay. Yeah, surgeries. Yeah, you feel insane every time you try to stop for surgery, of course. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Now, let me see here. I never liked how AA tries to tell people that they're powerless over alcohol. Yeah, it's a very dangerous mindset. It's very, very dangerous. Okay. Yeah, the word stopping is better. I agree with you. I agree. I'm so ingrained in saying quitting, but I agree with you. I prefer the word stopping more. I might have permanent damage in my endocannabinoid system. I've smoked so much weed for 30 plus years. I think it's highly unlikely. I mean, I've worked with numerous people who are above the age of 50, even into their 60s, and they started smoking at, 16 years old, and they do fine. So I don't think so. Now, not say that that's impossible. Like, there may be some degree of damage, but like, you got to quantify damage, right? Like, okay, what would be an example of this? So I don't know what an example of this would be, but like damage is on scales, right? So like the idea here, what you're getting at is it even worth me stopping if I have permanent damage? Well, I suppose if you have catastrophic damage to your body, no, just keep smoking, I guess. But like you probably don't. So even if you had some level of permanent damage, but it was a low level of damage, well, quitting is very much worth it, right? So, but I see what you're doing. See, you're already your mindset is off. You're making an excuse before even attempting. Like you don't know until you don't know what you don't know. Like quit, see how you do, and let's see what conclusions we arrive upon. Okay. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. No, they're using the pesticides and everything. I'm not a fan of Chantix at all. Some people quit off of it, but honestly, it all comes back to mindset. Like, if someone's gonna quit with Chantix, chances are they were gonna quit anyways. That was just a thing that they like, almost like placebo effect. And Chantix has some wild side effects, but if that's what you want to do and it helps you quit smoking cigarettes, go for it, because that can kill you too. Um, okay, let's see here. All right, guys. So this has been fun. Okay. Yeah, the super crazy nightmares are very, very, very normal. Super vivid nightmares will occur. That's the REM rebound sleep. Okay. And this is very common after quitting cannabis. Now, all right, folks, I'm going to take off tonight. I got to actually get to some calls. I gotta address some things. Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna go. This was a lot of fun. Okay. I hope to talk to you guys again soon. We'll do a live maybe sometime next weekend where I'll take some live phone calls during it and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Again, if you want to learn more about working with me one-on-one, link in the pinned comment in the video description. I'll put it there for you guys. Okay. Until next time.